So now we talk a little bit about the limits of expanding roads in high density growth zones. Plain and simple, the ground is finite. As we've mentioned in many of our podcasts and our episodes, we talk so often about, certainly in the history of the United States and certainly many places around the world, populations have growth, urban density has taken over, the addition of bus group and mass transit has reached its peak. And now when we see so many of the coverage around traffic congestion or pollution, environmental degradation, what we simply say is that there's just no more land. So now many of thought leadership would say, hey, we can continue to go underground, we can do subways or boring holes. And often we say, that's novel, but let's look at the data around it. Is it scalable? What is its real throughput? What is it actually solving? Now, again, in the future of mobility design, we wouldn't say don't do something, but we simply want to make sure that it is data-driven, that it's understand what the impact will be, and that it's not treated as a silver bullet, but it's actually another component in the choices that cities and locations get to make around helping alleviate traffic congestion or in their future planning. So induced demand actually is neutralized by the added lanes. We would say in one of our advertisements, add another lane, build another bridge, and that has historically been the solution. And after 1970s and the 80s and the 90s and now into the 2000s, you can really pick whether it's Los Angeles or Chicago or Miami or Dubai or Sao Paulo. It simply just doesn't do anything anymore. The growth in the number of vehicles on roads today, the number of single occupant drivers on roads today is a simply prohibitive and unsustainable number when it comes to the high density growth areas, the demand for single occupant utilization, and the simple ability, there's just not enough ground mass. So again, land is finite. Road expansion increases infrastructure and maintenance burdens. We often hear in legislation, it is an infrastructure lack of sustainability. We simply don't have the funds to maintain and sustain even the infrastructure we have today. It's often we'll hear about a city or a local city budget of $5, $10, $20 million for the year, and that won't even cover potholes and curb or sidewalk improvements, lighting or traffic lights and navigation, that there's just not enough budget even now to solve any amount of the problems that we're facing in our current urban centers. Traffic signals alone in intersections become the constraint in mobility, and it's not just the lane count. Often people will say, well, we'll just time the lights. Well, it doesn't matter where you go, timed lights, you'll still see this cadence of traffic congestion. Add another lane, build another bridge, time the stoplights. Oh, and now AI will solve all of the problems. The numbers are stark. We keep saying it every day. There's got to be more solutions around the future of mobility and innovation and diversification of the mobility systems offered throughout the world. And then again, expanding roads does not solve the last mile connectivity. This is actually the area SNAAP Transportation focuses the great amount of attention, is inside these constricted chokeholds. Now, even though SNAAP is a nonstop personal rapid transit system, it is able to take you from point A to point B, that we're able to build a 112 kilometer express personal rapid transit system. But we actually focus the majority of our time in our conversations around the last mile, the last 5 miles. We know that if you go on a 15-mile drive from your home towards your office, often the first 10, 15 miles is the easy part. It's the last 5 miles. It's like every day it's that chokehold. And often if you said, hey, I have a 20-mile drive to work, and if you said 60 miles an hour, that would be novel. You'd be there in 20, 22 minutes. However, we know that today in most urban centers, if you have a 20-mile drive, you typically need to multiply that by 2.5 to 3 times to get your real travel time. So you're looking at 45, 60 or more minutes to do that 20-mile drive. And that's not caused by the first 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles. That is actually the constricted last 5 miles or last mile. And then the last part here is around road expansion. Again, it increases the infrastructure cost, and it's just simply not going to bring the resolution that we're looking for. And then finally, to talk about disrupted mobility systems that allow cities to do the things differently. We've mentioned cities like Smart City Award, Curitiba, the future of studies in the EcoCity at Caspian Sea, or EcoVista Smart Sustainable City, Jamaica, or even some of the mobility transportation master plans, whether it's in Greenville, South Carolina, or in Tampa, Florida. Decentralized movement reduces pressure on the arterial roads. And so what are the ways that we're actually starting to create new traffic patterns, new mobility patterns, new mobility layers? And again, we would always emphasize the fact that as long as you have 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels on the ground, those are principally not able to help alleviate traffic congestion.